Welcome to the Real View podcast, where Ohio Realtors connect you to innovators and influencers, keeping you with the real view of real estate. Whether you're a broker, agent, first-time homebuyer, industry leader, or just happen to stumble upon our podcast today, you can expect to hear tips, tools, tricks, interesting information, and so much more from the experts in Ohio's real estate game. Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the Real View podcast. I am your host, Allison Wiley. Joining me today, our special guest is Tatiana Zagorovski. She is a national speaker, a real estate entrepreneur, and a published author. Tatiana is a real estate professional who specializes in helping people who have damaged credit achieve the dream of home ownership through Trio Realty Partners based in St. Louis, Missouri. Tatiana, welcome onto the show. We're so happy to have you.
Hi, Alison. I'm very happy to be here.
Yes, and you are going to share with us some really cool stuff about the world of AI. I know you are an AI expert yourself. You dabble in it a lot. What it means for our real estate industry, what consumers need to know about AI in the real estate space, and also, how we can best educate our clients on this. And some good news for our realtors, I think, will be coming out of this is that it's not going to replace us. At least that's our prediction for today, that there is still going to be a need for that realtor, for that real estate agent to be by your buyers and sellers side. But before we get started with that conversation, I would like to hear a little bit more about you, Tatiana. If you could share with us a little bit about yourself, how you got started in real estate and what you do today.
Hi, Alison. Well, thank you very much. It's a lot to cover.
It is.
Yeah. Well, if you probably can hear from my accent, I wasn't born in the United States, but I left my home country in 1999, pursuing the dream of becoming an entrepreneur. And honestly, it took me 2 immigrations and almost 20 years before I actually found my niche, something I'm truly passionate about. And it's, of course, real estate. I tried multiple strategies. I took multiple trainings. I spent tens, thousands of dollars on various coaching programs before I actually realized what are strategies I'd like to focus on, how to eliminate, not so good trainings. And the main thing I'm the most passionate about real estate business is that when it's done right, it creates win-win for all parties involved. And shortly for the audience, I'm coming out of more than 20 years in corporate. I was in software development industry. I was in development testing. Last few years, I was in charge of efficiency and innovation for a large client. I have 3 patents for innovative tools. So basically, all my life, I was very focused on the most efficient way to do anything. Like at the time, it was work. Now it's my business. And now I have amazing opportunity that really excites me when I can combine be an entrepreneur, do real estate, and leverage technology. So, like, what else could I wish for?
That's awesome. It's kind of a good mix of all your passions. You're able to check off multiple boxes, and I think that's what makes you the perfect person to be talking with us today, because you're able to blend all these worlds together. You're able to blend that entrepreneurial world, that real estate world, and the tech world, which is growing so fast, and it's almost seeming like it's impossible to keep up with, and things are different every day. But you're going to kind of break it down for us and tell us from your perspective a little bit about what you're seeing, what we should be excited about, what we should be a little weary of, and what it means for us in our industry. So I'm excited about our conversation, and I'm happy that you were able to join me today.
Thank you, Alison. Yes, I'm excited. So what would you like me to answer first? Because I can talk for hours, if not days.
Yeah. No, I know you're an expert in this area, so I'm really excited to be hearing from you. So we can just dive right in. We know that there's a growing trend of buyers and sellers that are wanting to rely on AI throughout their home selling, home purchasing journey, that they're maybe seeing this as a reason to not use a realtor, or they're choosing to opt out of using a realtor and saying, hey, my AI is going to help me, buy or sell this home. And I think that there's been a couple instances where this has actually been the case. Talk to us about this mindset that's out there. What instances have you seen of where this is coming into play? And talk to us a little bit about the current state of what people are thinking of when it comes to using AI instead of a real estate agent.
Okay, will do my best. It's very broad topic. So
Yeah.
first of all, no doubt, using modern technology in general and AI in particular, it's important. And people who will not start using it, if haven't started yet, will be left behind very fast. The main challenge I see with using AI is not everybody truly understands what AI is. And a lot of cases that I observe is when people treat AI as like a top instant authority, and they believe everything AI produces. And of course, Alison, I'm sure you know that when AI gives you an answer, it looks and sounds very authoritative. And unfortunately, 99% of people take it as final truth, which is not the case. Because with AI, it's first of all, it's not human. It's not some, magical creature with superpower. All AI does, it leverage knowledge or a lot of information that was put inside AI, and it gives answers based on this huge knowledge base plus some statistical approach. And to prove it, I have my personal example when I was like testing AI. I asked question about one of my business ventures, my companies, and I was asking to give opinion and feedback, how to rate it, and I was giving me answers that doesn't match the reality. So I asked question, why did you say like this company doesn't have reviews? Because it does. And it's like, oh, I didn't even check. And when I check, I didn't even look at the review. And when I asked why you didn't share the assumptions you made before giving the answer, and the answer I received from AI was, hmm, usually people don't ask this question. You are very few people that even question my answers.
Wow.
So, and it would be funny if it, wasn't said, because this example is more like a joke of me playing with AI. But literally yesterday, I saw a post from one of the AI experts, a lady I know. She's living and breathing and teaching AI. And she made a post about the fact that in one of the courts, an attorney was charged huge fines because his office or him personally used AI, and AI produced not accurate information. It wasn't according to the law, and people who knew the law, they caught it up. And I see multiple examples from my clients when they sometimes use AI incorrectly without understanding that AI basically, first of all, it uses certain knowledge base and you need to instruct AI what to look, but also you need kind of train AI what you expect. And based on that, the answers it gives more accurate. Plus, there are multiple platforms, and each of those platforms is a little bit different. So I totally don't understand when some people focus. Oh, you must use only Claude AI now because ChatGPT now is not good and something blah blah blah. The idea of those different platforms and the way how to utilize it is different. And you really need to know what you're doing and how. For basic audience, I think for most of the people, it's enough to pick either of AI tool and learn how to use it correctly to train them on what you are doing. For more advanced people, it's important to understand which AI to use for what task. And by no means AI can replace human expertise, because AI is nothing but trained technology. What it can do very well once you know how to do it and train it is to replace and help you with routine repetitive tasks. That's where AI is amazing. And I think all real estate agents and real estate professionals and anybody in general, if you have some repetitive routine tasks, but you're doing with your computer, that's like first thing that can be automated and delegated to AI. Obviously, using and utilizing AI to answer questions is great idea, but always request to provide verifiable sources. Because if you don't ask AI to provide verifiable sources, it can give you all kinds of answers that might not be true.
You
Um,
still kind of need that human eye on it.
or
Um,
at least reliable source, because I
yeah.
remember a few years ago, my teenage son was talking to me about some subject and was arguing. I'm like, why do you think that's true what you're saying? Oh, I Googled it. Like, okay, that's very nice. But even when you Google it, you need to see the source who wrote this particular piece of information. And same story with AI, because AI, as I just gave from my personal example, it just makes assumption. It gives you some kind of average answer unless you in particular request verification. And of course, if we talk about real estate transactions, AI can be super helpful to write professional listing descriptions. Frankly, to find properties, you even didn't need AI. We have Zillow, Homes.com, all kind of platforms that pull information all over MLS listings. But it doesn't mean you don't want to use the professional real estate agent, because modern days, and it was even before AI, the role of the agents is not necessarily about finding the right, home for you or advising about areas, which is still true, but that's something AI can replace in a lot of aspects, because yes, AI can provide you, metric statistical information about areas, quickly do the searches, etc. But I think the most important in real estate transaction is first inspect the house, the home you are buying, and experience a real estate agent. Of course, I'm not saying the agent can replace an inspector, but experienced agent can point out to a lot of things that regular person will not notice. And before becoming a real estate entrepreneur, I switched, I think, 3 personal residences, and every time after transaction, I was discovering all kinds of unexpected issues because my eyes wasn't trained, and well, probably I didn't have the best real estate professionals, but it's not the point. The point that if you don't have experience when you're buying a house, and buying a house, it's one of the most important purchases in many families' lives, because it's significant amount for many. It's like they will be paying it for 30 years if
Mhm.
we don't have ability to pay it off earlier. So it's super important to buy it right. So this is where you need a human expert on preliminary analysis before even making an offer. Of course, after that, you will need a professional inspection, because no real estate agent usually can tell you everything and do professional inspection. But
Mhm.
even after that, it's not all. Then there is very, very important piece of bringing this transaction to the closing. And while AI can give you basic steps, how the transactions work, every transaction is unique. And in every transaction, some unexpected things can pop up. Like I had transactions where a few days before closing, we discovered that there are more than 10 hairs that have to sign off. And I'm super grateful to my favorite title company and my favorite closer. She was literally chasing everybody on this list, even during weekends. She went above and beyond. But it was very hard job. Now I could do that because it required, investigative work, knowing where to look, and then building rapport and convincing people that they do need to sign this formal document. So that's just one of the examples. There are other examples where human expertise cannot be replaced. It's things as rapport, knowing whom to contact, how to talk to this person, things like that. I can help with direction with some technical things. And actually, today I attended to one of trainings. I'm constantly learning about AI, and a lot of focus now is about agentic approach, where AI really can replace a lot of things without even you touching it. And again, the biggest reminder, AI is nothing but technology. It cannot multitask. I mean, one process cannot run multiple. So you need carefully train it for various tasks and patiently wait once, it tuned up to do one task before you can expect to do multiple.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. I think there were so many nuggets in there, and I think we should all feel good that there is still, even with this new technology. And I love how you broke it down like that, because I think for so many people, they see that as this scary thing or this threat or this something that we need to be fearful of. And you're saying, hey, it's just technology. It's just technology that's pulling data sources, that's being prompted to do things. It's not this big, bad, scary thing that's out there coming to take over the world. Is that kind of what I'm hearing?
Yeah, I think there are ideas like that. Honestly, I would think about it as another useful tool
Yeah.
to make your daily life efficient. And of course, to keep up with that, it's important to start learning, but nobody, and literally nobody, has to keep up with everything happening in AI world, because in this case, all you will be doing is trying to keep up, but not implementing. Just pick one, small routine task that you do every day and figure out how you can use AI for that. And again, it requires some learning curve, because the biggest issue people do without learning everything, they consider, well, most common is still ChatGPT for general public. So we consider ChatGPT kind of, magic that can give answer to everything, which is completely wrong. because if you don't customize it, and if you just start asking questions, the quality of answers will be beyond desirable. And I just last week I had an example when a client by mistake copied pasted the whole output from AI, and while some points were relevant, some points were completely not relevant, because the question this client asked AI was so general, but I gave some answer, and it wasn't even matching. Like, simple example, for a contract in Missouri, for regular contract, you just need one document. And AI, for some reason, recommended them to request an addendum, which, in a nutshell, all it said that seller will not have right to any issues that can be discovered, during title work. And nobody in their right mind will sign such addendum.
Yeah.
Because it's not going to protect the buyer at all. So, and I worked with them for a few days after this AI and explained that how things work. We want to be protected, to have protection for all parties. And you cannot rely on everything AI is saying, especially if you don't know the laws in the state and you don't specify to AI that you're looking, for particular things.
That's so true. You have to be really careful with what, information you're getting out. Always smart to fact check it, make sure that you're backing it up, that you're going to other sources to confirm the information. And I think that that's the same way with any generative stuff that you're getting out of it too. For content, you mentioned, it's great for descriptions on property listings and things like that. But you still should go in and double check that and make sure that you're putting another set of eyes on it, and that it's in your own voice too. I think people are now able to tell when things are AI, and I've seen so much like, oh, this is AI. Like, you couldn't even, bother to remove the dashes out of it, or, whatever some of the, characteristics that we've now learned that how AI writes. Going back in and fact checking that and putting your own touch and language and spin on it is still so important. It's not going to be able to completely be able to sound like you and learn what you sound like and write like. It's still important for us to go through and be double checking and proofreading and refining it to make sure that it's coming from our voice. Is that right when it comes to this too?
Absolutely. The only recommendation I would do is, before you even want the AI to write something, train it with your voice, train on some rules that you always want to see or don't want to see in your writing. And yes, absolutely, basically for everything, with very minor exception, I don't just copy paste. I always review, I always make sure the information sounds like me and I like what it says because in some cases I don't. And it's not necessarily, it sounds like a AI. Sometimes it doesn't use, sometimes it's just use, things or facts I don't agree with. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to put out something that I consider not true. But
Mm-hmm.
the more you work with your AI to train it, the better outcome will be. But yes, do not rely it completely. And also for real estate agents and professionals who are working hard to put themselves out there on social media, when AI was just completely new, it was super cool to put out AI generated videos because at the time it was unique. And by doing that, you were one of very few people doing it, and it was cool. Now, if you look, a lot of videos and posts, you simply can tell that it's AI generated, all look the same, sound the same. So now happens the opposite. You can use AI, obviously, to do research and preparatory work, but I strongly recommend do not replace yourself with AI and show up genially. And doesn't matter if you have accent or you sneezing, well, sometimes it happens, but it shows you are human
Yeah.
because you don't want to be lost among those AI clones who are perfect.
So true. And I think, one of the jobs as us as realtors is to write. We don't want to replace ourselves. We want to still be showing off our value that we bring to our clients. But I think we can do a good job as realtors too to warn our clients of some of the risks of using this. What should that look like? How should we be communicating and informing our clients on the risks of using AI in a home transaction process? What should we be communicating with them? What is your message to consumers about some of the risks? And how can we do a good job of explaining this to our clients?
Well, probably put together some, very basic educational piece, how AI works, because some clients might not have used AI at all. We
Mm.
still have clients who prefer, signature on paper. We don't use digital technology completely. So for them, probably it's less relevant, but some people who start to use AI, we don't know how to use it. And I am sure if not yet, pretty soon, each and every agent will have examples
Yeah.
showing why I cannot replace. And you are more than welcome to use a couple of examples I brought up. But if you look, you will see it anywhere. I was also having a good laugh a couple of months ago when someone made a post in one of AI groups, I think, oh, I'm so excited. I used AI to prepare my taxes and then found $500 savings over TurboTax or whatever this person was using. And the next sentence was, do we have some tax experts in the group who can actually review what AI produced?
Yeah.
Like, so the person was happy, and when he understood that probably what AI gave, it's not exactly true.
It's so true. And I think, especially you mentioned it earlier, when you're headed into a transaction that's as big of a purchase as a home is or a sale of a home, you want to be sure that this is in the right hands. I wouldn't want to rely on technology fully to, sell my property that's worth hundreds of thousands of dollars or buy a property that's worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. I think it's just too risky. You want to be sure that it is in good care and in good hands. And there's no better person to do that than a realtor. It's why there's so much value there. And I think it's good for our realtors to hear that, this AI is not going to replace. You mentioned some of these instances where that human touch still needs to step in. They're not going to know who to call. They're not going to know some of the title issues that can happen. They're not going to know, all of the issues that go on with permitting issues and all of that kind of stuff. I mean, there's so much that goes into this transaction, and that's why realtors have the profession that they do, because they're the experts in this and they can know all of this knowledge and be able to provide that service to their clients. So I think it's great to know that there's a place for AI, and I think you know just explain some great ways that we can infuse it into our daily lives, but it's not going to replace us.
Yes, and I want to add one more thing. because the article I wrote about using AI and if it can replace or not real estate professionals and agents was based on a very famous piece about AI sold a home for someone in Florida. But the funny thing, I was watching a little bit how it was developing. So immediately some entrepreneurs in the AI world started to use it as a pitch to sell some, inexpensive AI tools, which, in my opinion, were not comprehensive and custom enough. But another thing that I was really curious, nobody was asking a question, what it really meant, because all information that was about in this article, if you read it carefully, or maybe I'm missing something, but I really read it a couple of times. All it said, AI sold the house, and then in the details, it's simply that the owner used AI to write a description. And this is a legit case for AI, absolutely. Put it out on Zillow or whatever, on some platform. Yes, everybody can do that. You don't have to have agent for that. Again, he also, I think, priced the house based on AI input. Let's assume it was done correctly. I believe it was in Florida. Florida is public state, so all information is available. Actually, that's another thing. If you are in non-disclosure state, using AI will be more difficult for pricing because you will not see real sold pricing. But for public states like Florida, okay, you can use it, some input to price your house. But what article wasn't talking about how the contract was handled after that. Because yes, of course, if getting house in desirable area under contract is no brainer. And of course, if you have smooth transaction and again, selling house is a little bit easier because you are not worried about discovering issues after since you are selling it. But basically, it has nothing about handling transaction, and that's where real problem can arise. So, from my experience, I'm doing probably like 100 transactions a year, different kind of transaction, and maybe only 5% go completely smoothly as you expect without anything. Some have minor hiccups, easily addressed. Some have more challenging hiccups, and small percentage, of course, has issues that prevent from closing completely.
Yeah. No, I think that's amazing to note too, that there's always more to the story, right? There's always more there.
Always question what exactly it means, because like someone can tell you, yeah, I sold the house, but like ask question what exactly I did.
So true. So true. And so much for us to think about. I think it's good news for us. AI is not going to replace the agent. We are still very much needed for those human transactions.
Absolutely.
Use it to your advantage. Use it to automate some of those daily tasks, to write some of those descriptions, and then proofread it. But I think we should all feel really good in a good place that there is still going to be a place for us. So I want to thank you again, Tatiana, so much for joining me today. Thanks for sharing your world of AI. I could hear when you talk just how much of an expert you are on it and how passionate you are on it. So I want to thank you for your time and your knowledge that you shared with us today.
It was a pleasure. Thank you for having me, Allison. And if someone has any questions, feel free to reach out.
And to all of our listeners, thank you guys so much for tuning in. We'll be back with you next week. We'll talk to you then.
Thank you for listening to The Real View. That wraps up today's episode. You can keep up with the latest on the podcast at ohiorealtors.org/therealview and on Apple or Google Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen. Have questions, comments, or suggestions? We want to hear from you. Email us at podcast@ohiorealtors.org. We'll see you next time.